here to talk to you today, not about knitting, but about crochet. So earlier this year, I started to learn how to crochet finally after, 15 years of being a knitter and a knitter only. So I started finally to learn with the help of some YouTube videos. So let me just first show you, this is my first and current crochet project. This is the Elizabeth blanket by Two of Wands. I don't remember her real name. Presumably that's not it. I think it's Alexandra something. That information I'll put in the box down below. So this is it. This is all the crochet I've ever done. This is mostly double crochet with increases and decreases. There is a tiny bit of single crochet at the beginning of each row, and usually by the time, that's my own hair. Usually by the time I get to the beginning of the row and have to do the one single crochet, I have already forgotten how to do it and I have to go back and look it up. So this is the extent of my crochet knowledge. I certainly hope I will be expanding, but for now, this is all I got. Despite the fact that this is the only crochet that I have ever done, I have recently found myself obsessing over a lot of crochet projects. Crochet patterns for me are still really hit or miss. So I have no interest in amigurumi at all. Most sweaters, shawls, I still find a lot of crochet stuff is giving me more of a homemade versus handmade vibe that just really isn't my style. So when I find crochet projects I like, I make sure that I note them down immediately. I originally started basically because I want handmade blankets, and knitting blankets sucks. It takes forever. And crocheting is faster in the sense that it seems to use up more yarn more quickly. So for example, this is all worsted-ish weight yarn. So some of it's light worsted, some of it's heavy worsted, but it's all worsted. And this gray part here is only 6 rows. So to get that, which is about 3 inches worth of knitting, unless I was using really big needles and really bulky yarn, it would take me quite a while to get 3 inches worth of fabric length if I were knitting. So even though I'm slow at crochet itself, it's more like bang for your buck. When I can zoom through a row of knitting, but I've only got a little bit of fabric, whereas I can go pretty slow through a row of crochet, but I've already got like a ½ inch of fabric. So I originally was kind of all about the blankets, but I have been finding more and more crochet projects that I like. And so today I thought I would share with you 8 crochet patterns that I am currently obsessing over and hopefully may someday make. These are very granny square heavy. I don't know what that says about me. And it's interesting because in terms of knitting, I tend to like things that are more low contrast, muted colors, but I feel like maybe crochet is a little more adventurous for me. I don't know, we'll see. So I will start by showing you, and I'm looking on my screen, which is, but I'll put actual photos up here as well. So I'll start by showing you the next blanket that I want to make. The next blanket that I want to make is called the Daphne Afghan. It is by Tony Lipsy, who is TL Yarn Crafts. And all of these can be found on Ravelry. And let me go ahead and pop a photo in here. So I don't know what it is about this blanket that is calling to me, because I am not really usually a very kind of like geometric person. And definitely if I were going to make it, I would not use these kind of bright colors. I would probably go a little more muted and probably a little lower contrast between colors. And I guess this is kind of like a giant or like the intersection of some granny squares is kind of what it is looking like here. And you're getting the, I know, the reflection from the ring light. So it says, it's the granny stripe, but in a whole new way. So that's probably why I like it, because as I said, this list of patterns is pretty granny square heavy, and I don't know why. It uses, is it a worsted weight yarn? An Aran weight yarn, so that's gonna go up pretty quickly. The sample is done in a Lion Brand acrylic. Obviously I'm not, if you've seen previous videos, is it here or is it here? I think it's here. I don't care for acrylic. This is definitely something I can also probably do out of some stash yarn, leftovers from other projects. It is one size, 35 inches, 35.5 inches square. So that's 3 feet square. You can make it bigger. So it's really kind of more of a baby blanket size, but like it says, you can make it bigger just by making bigger triangles and then seaming them together. So I think this is going to end up being my second crochet project. May or may not try to do this from stash. I do have a new baby in my life, but that does not belong to me, thank God, which is my new nephew, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law's new baby. They might like something like this, or maybe I would keep it for myself, I don't know. I already have something planned for them for when the weather cools down for that baby. So, and I guess the baby size uses about 1,200 yards of yarn. So I don't know what else I have to learn in order to do this. I suppose I could click on the link and find out. Okay, I need to be able to chain, cluster. I don't know what that is. It says 3 double crochet in the same place, so I'd have to learn that. Double crochet. Slip stitch. I don't know what that is, but it sounds like slipping a stitch. I don't know. And a turning chain, which I know how to do. So, seems like, although I have to know how to do something called a magic ring. So, there will be things to learn, but I think this is going to end up being my second crochet project when the time comes. Clearly, I am not going through that other blanket very quickly. All right, so again, that is the Daphne Afghan by Tony Lipsy or TL Yarn Crafts. Is everything else on? Okay, you know what? I'm going to show you. I'm going to kind of go theme-wise. So next, I'm going to show you something that is sort of similar, using that granny stitch. And this is the Abuela Tank by Michelle Jones, MM Making. So presumably that's her design name. And this one, I could take it or leave it, but this one is what's really speaking to me. I'm a little insulted because Abuela Tank, Abuela means grandmother. So it's a grandma tank, but since it uses a granny stitch, I guess that makes sense. So I don't know if it's the colors. I mean, I know for a lot of this, it is just like the styling and the colors they've chosen are really calling to me. And in general, I haven't been super attracted to most crochet garments because I just think the fabric looks too thick and kind of uncomfortable. But this looks very breezy, because the stitch is a very kind of an open work stitch, and it is made in cotton, and it's a sport weight yarn. So the pattern calls for Pearl Soho Original Cotton Pure. I have never used that. I don't know anything about it. It is 100% Fama cotton. Obviously it's available from Pearl Soho, so you can order that online. And it says the Abuela Tank is crocheted in timeless granny stitch made from a light and cool cotton. And is worked in 2 parts with the edgings added after the seaming. Instructions are given for 1 color, however, multiple colors work beautifully. Example in the photo is made using Bombix silk. I don't know what that is, so I guess you could try silk as well. So this pattern includes 9 sizes up to a 64-inch bust. And what do I need to be able to do? It doesn't really tell me what I have to know how to do. But presumably if it's a granny stitch, I probably have to know a lot of the same stuff that I'm gonna maybe learn to do that Afghan pattern, the Daphne Afghan. The other thing is that the trim on this is obviously crocheted, but I could consider knitting that as well if to make sort of a, because the edgings do look a little dense, but I could maybe add like a knit trim around the edges if I wanted to do that as well. So that is another one. Just looks very summery, very kind of hippie. So again, that's the Abuela Tank by Michelle Jones, MM Making. So those two were kind of connected, and they're using that granny stitch, but not actual granny squares. 5 of these remaining 6 patterns that I want to show you are granny square related. So I'm going to show you the one that's not, that doesn't have any granny squares. And this is the Gilmore Bralette by Janine Miska. I don't know why I'm so interested in this because, you know, I mean, am I going to Coachella? No, I'm far too old for that. But it is just really adorable. She has it on the Ravelry page in a couple of different colors. Really the black one I think looks the best. White one looks okay too. And I don't super care for the one she's showing in gold. But this is, let's see what she has to say about it. It is done in worsted weight, which seems a little heavy for a crochet top that you want to wear in the summer, but it is done in cotton. And Gilmore Bralette is a cropped festival top. I mean, it basically even says right here that it's, you know, to wear to Coachella, which I'm never going to, featuring a mesh neckline with a matching eyelet detail along the bottom front edge and a lace-up back. And it can be completed in just a day or two. I sincerely doubt that, at least not for me. But for other people, I'm sure that's true. It also says that the pattern is written kind of a tutorial style where you kind of plug in your own measurements to get the right size for you. So that's pretty cool. It says this bralette is crocheted with a small hook, creating a solid fabric that need not be worn with the bra. These are things that people who have not breastfed 2 children like to say. I don't think I buy that, but you never know. If I were ever to make this, this is probably going to be kind of something I'm wearing at the beach, over a bathing suit, maybe around the house. Not something I am necessarily going out and about with because it is cropped and it is very, has lots of eyelets and holes and very, what's the word I'm looking for? Revealing. And I'm not of an age where I need to be wearing such revealing things out and about. But it is absolutely adorable, and I do think it would be really cute for the summer. And granted, it is probably not intended for women of my age, but maybe I would still find some use for it somewhere. I mean, I am going to a concert in August. It's not Coachella, but the guy singing is like 50 years old, but still, maybe. Anyway, so it is designed to have negative ease, and as I said, you're just gonna take your measurements and plug them in, and it's gonna explain to you how to create it so it does not have specific sizing. Now, what do I need to know how to do to make this? I don't know. It really doesn't say. Presumably, you probably have to buy the pattern to find that out, and at some point I will. And it's a grand total of $6 whole, so that's completely reasonable. So again, that is the Gilmore Bralette by Janine Miska, which is, if you are a festival going hippie bohemian type person, probably a nice choice for you as well, and I think it's absolutely adorable. Now, as I said, these other 5 patterns all have granny squares. I don't know why. All right, which one do we want to talk about first? Let's talk about this one. So this is the only one that is not a garment. This is the Magnolia Tote. We can all use bags all the time. I constantly am looking for, I have a lot of like reusable grocery bags, but that's not really what I'm going to be carrying out and about. but I do always have a need to have some kind of bag with me to carry various things. And this looks like it would be adorable, comfortable to carry, probably kind of flexible, maybe would make a cute beach bag. So again, this is the Magnolia Tote Bag by Jessica Reeves Potas, who is Mama in a Stitch. This is also knit in a worsted weight cotton. Presumably, if you know how to resize things, you could probably use different size yarn. I don't know how to do that in crochet, so. And as you can see, it seems to be a bunch of granny squares sewn together or crocheted together. Cheerful vintage style granny squares adorn this oversized bag that is sure to fit your spring and summer hauls. Completely customizable, you can pick your favorite 4 colors and go. Made with mercerized cotton, it's sturdy and washable. And because it's made up of squares, it's the perfect portable project. It says it's easy to intermediate, so as soon as you know how to make a basic granny square, this pattern will be a breeze. So clearly I gotta learn how to do that. Uses about 300 grams of yarn. So I think a lot of the reason I'm drawn to this is the color scheme that she has put together here is really, I love it. I love this particular mishmash of colors. So it's like a white, a gray blue, a dark blue, and then that kind of bronzy gold. That is right up my alley. So basically I need to know how to knit a granny square, which I don't, but I can learn. Let's look at some of the other projects and see if I like it as much in different colors. Okay, there's some color combos here that are okay and some that are really terrible. But yeah, that original color combo she picked, a lot of the other people that made this went with the same one because it really just, it's a good color combo. Lion brand yarn, that is, you know, very reasonably priced and easily accessible as well. From your local Michaels or my Joanne has yarn. I haven't really looked at what yarn they have, but I know the Michaels has that. So yeah, a lot of other cute options here, but that original color scheme, although I do kind of like, okay, this one is cracking me up because first of all, the person who made it is named Aspiring Bog Witch, but it's a Maryland tote, so it's done like in Maryland flag colors. Anyway, so yeah, definitely her original color combo is the best one I've seen, but there are some other cute options that other people have put together, so maybe I would like it just as much if I picked my own colors. This is, let's see, it is free on her blog. It says there's an ad-free printable version for purchase on Etsy, but when I click on that, it says that the page is not found or it's sold out. So I don't know about that. I guess you would just go to her blog and read through it to do that. So 600, 700 yards of worsted weight cotton, and you can have your very own adorable little granny square tote bag, like I might someday. All right, the next, all right, I'm gonna save my, we got 2 pullovers and 2 cardigans. I'm probably not ever gonna make this pullover. This is Floribunda by Gina, Fama, Rockenwagner. This was published in Pom Pom Quarterly, summer 2022. It's really cute and it looks adorable on the model, and I think it would look idiotic on me. I just don't think I could pull this off. But the color combo that they have is great. It really looks great on the model. The way it's styled is really cute. I just don't see myself actually wearing it, but I think it's just adorable. So let's see, this is crocheted in Drum Natura Antigone, which I looked up yesterday for something. I think it's a linen. Yes, it is 100% linen yarn, and it's a sport weight, so it would be, you know, relatively cool yarn for the summertime, even as a pullover with a kind of denser fabric. So it's, the gauge is given for as 22 stitches over 4 inches in double crochet. So that's a little dense, but you know, certainly wearable. And let's see, what other useful information? Okay, the front and back of Floribunda are constructed of 4 panels made separately and then joined together. Each sleeve is made from 2 panels joined together into a tube with double crochet added to complete the sleeve. Yeah, it's just adorable. I think it would be a fun project just to do as a project. I don't think I would ever actually wear it, so I probably won't ever tackle it because I don't really have time and space and energy in my life to make things that I'm not actually going to use. But I wanted to add it to the list because I think it's adorable. Again, it's Flora Bunda by Gina, Fama, Rockenwagner. Available in Pom Pom Quarterly, which you can download the whole issue directly through Ravelry for 20 bucks. And there are 14 patterns in the issue for 20 bucks. That's a steal. Okay, so now we're going to talk about some patterns I might actually make someday, maybe. One of them is a pullover. Again, I'm still not sold on crochet pullovers. It seems like they would not be super comfortable to me, just because I think the fabric would be relatively dense and not very movable, flexible. But this one is really cute. So this is the Oma Goodness top by Little Golden Nook. And even though these are really not personally my colors, I really think the color scheme here is just adorable. It looks so cute. So this is a pullover crocheted in a DK weight yarn. It doesn't have a suggested yarn, so who knows? Maybe it tells you which yarns they used. No, it doesn't tell you anything about the yarns they used. Definitely, there are a couple versions here, and the ones that are a white background with contrast colors are a lot cuter than the ones that with dark contrast colors are a lot cuter than the ones that are a dark background with light contrast colors. Make of that what you will, but I stand by it. This is really cute. It is just a whole bunch of adorable little granny squares mushed together. It's not super size inclusive in that it has 4 sizes that are supposedly going to work for sizes extra small through 3XL. So it's not super size inclusive, but it is adorable. The pattern is written in US terms. Skill level is advanced beginner. There are video and photo tutorials, so that might be helpful. Main photos used are made with 100% cotton. So she uses Paint Box Yarns cotton DK, and that's for the V-neck version, so there are 2 different necklines. And then Bendigo Woolen Mills 8-ply cotton. So, the extra small is 30 to 32 inch bust. The small / medium is a 32 to 37.5 inch bust. Medium large is up to 39 inch bust, and the extra large through 3XL is up to a 46 inch bust. 46 inch bust is not a 3X. Let's not start that, but it is really adorable. I love that it has 2 different necklines. I really like the V-neck personally. Again, bunch of granny squares put together in a cotton DK weight. Pattern is available for what is approximately $8.72 US or $12.50 Australian dollars, I assume. So again, Oma Goodness top. If you like granny squares and sort of loose fitting pullovers, I think it's got a good choice. This one is really more of, I think, another kind of dream project that's probably never actually going to get made. So this is the Willa Cardigan. This is by the Hookup Crochet Company. So they have a pattern page on Ravelry, but I think to get the actual pattern, you might have to go on Etsy. I think that's where I originally found it. And so this is just a big project. This is, I mean, it's a cardigan, but it's really kind of a coat. And as you can see, it's got these big granny squares down the back that I just love. And then it looks like, there's only 2 photos here, but it looks like it also has a little bit of the same sort of contrast color trim along the front as well. And then the rest is some kind of solid color open work crochet stitch that I know nothing about. It uses Bralette Softy Cotton, which is a DK weight cotton acrylic. And the pattern has 3 sizes. It says suggested for advanced beginner / intermediate. So the 3 sizes are small, medium, large, extra large, and 2X, 3X. And even the smallest one uses 2,000 yards of yarn. So I'm just not sure if this, oh, it's a sport weight yarn, but it's held double to make sort of a worsted weight yarn. Am I ever gonna make this? Probably not. I really like it. I like it in theory. I think it would be sort of an interesting thing to be wearing out and about. You probably get a lot of comments on it. But am I actually gonna make a giant crochet granny square coat that uses 2,000 yards of yarn? Probably not. Probably not. But it's really cute. And maybe I'll add this to my dream someday. Theoretical crochet. It might happen someday. We'll see. So again, Willa Cardigan by the Hookup Crochet Company. And as I said, there is a pattern page on Ravelry, but I think you have to get the pattern itself on Etsy. That's where I found it. All right, and the last one is definitely something completely doable. This is the Ariana Cardigan by Amy Christophers. And the nice thing about this is that it is granny squares with knit trim. So the suggested yarn is Barocco Lanas, which is 100% wool. Lana means wool or yarn. It is actually a free pattern. And it says, Ariana turns the typical granny square cardigan on its side. The cardigan's unique construction is finished off with knitted button bands and cuffs. It includes 6 sizes, small up to 3X. No, I am lying. It includes 2 sizes. One is small, medium, large. The other one is 1X, 2X, 3X. So the closed bust measurement for the small, medium, large is 40 inches. And the closed bust measurement for the 1X, 2X, 3X is 65 inches. This is not great sizing, but it is still a cute pattern. So the basic construction is just a bunch of granny squares that you seam together, and then you finish them off with this knit trim. And Amy Christophers is a very well-known knitting pattern designer who did the Felix pullover that so many of us have enjoyed. I don't know if she has a lot of, and the pressed flowers, everything. I don't know if she does a lot of crochet. I imagine that with this style of cardigan, it's really hard to change any kind of sizing. You know, you got squares that you're sewing together. You can't, shape armholes and things like that. So it is understandable that there's not a lot of sizing options in here. You might also be able to adjust your size a little bit by changing your gauge, I would guess. The same way you can get small adjustments in knitting patterns by changing your gauge. This is supposed to have an oversized fit. It doesn't have a closed fit because you're not shaping armholes and doing bust shaping and waist shaping and all of that. You're basically creating a few square shapes, rectangle shapes that you're seaming together. So making your squares themselves, denser and smaller or looser and wider might allow you to change the sizing a little bit. There's not a whole lot of details on here about this other than that. So again, I think basically you just have to know how to knit a granny square and it uses, how many different colors? One main color and 3 contrast colors. This one I think maybe someday we'll actually make. I think this would be a really cute kind of around the house, kind of a grandpa cardi, but it's crocheted instead of knit. And I like that the edgings are knit. Just, you know, obviously that's something I'm more comfortable with. And I also think, you know, having this sort of more flexible knit fabric for your cuffs and collars and things is going to make more of a more wearable sweater. So again, Ariana by Amy Christophers. All right, and those are the 8 crochet patterns that I, a knitter, am currently obsessed with and may or may not make someday. So thank you for joining me for this random look at some crochet projects. I hope even if you are a knitter, you enjoyed it and maybe you were inspired like me to give crochet a try. Please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel so you can check out all of the other knitting related content, vlogs, tutorials, podcasts, and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today, and I hope to see you again soon at another video.